Hello friends, today we are going to talk about matrices, retainers and wedges being used in restorative dentistry. What is matricing? Matricing is a procedure whereby a temporary wall is created opposite to the axial wall surrounding areas of the tooth structure that were lost during the tooth preparation. And matrix is a device which is used during the restorative procedure to hold the plastic restorative material within the tooth while it is setting. The word matrix is derived from the Latin word mater, which means mother. So, whenever we have a class 2 restoration or a class 1 with a buccal extension or a class 1 with a lingual extension or a class 3 or a class 4 restoration where one of the walls of the tooth structure is missing, then we have to adapt an artificial band which is called as a matrix band around the area so that the restorative material can be very well contained inside that area and the matrix band is contoured sufficiently so that the restorative material takes the shape of that area and the original anatomy of the tooth structure gets restored. If you do not apply a matrix band or a retainer or the wedge, then your restorative material can flow left and right, it can flow into the gingiva, it can overflow everywhere, resulting in a poor restoration. So, if you are trying to talk that what are the objectives and the function of placing a matrix, they are: matrix acts as an artificial wall against which the restorative material is placed, and it confines the restorative material within the tooth preparation and predetermined surface configuration. If you adapt your matrix band properly according to the shape of the tooth structure and then you fill in your restorative material, then your restorative material obviously is going to take that shape and will not flow excessively into the areas where it is not required, thus restoring the tooth to its proper anatomy. Also, it displaces the gingiva and the rubber dam away from the cavity margins during the introduction of the restorative material so as to provide an adequate access to the area concerned. The matrix also assures dryness and non-contamination of the details and the space to be covered with and occupied by the setting restorative material. It also provides a shape to the restorative material. So, it also not only it provides a shape but also provides adequate isolation to the area of work. Let's have a look at the brief historical perspective. The need for the matrix became apparent in late 1800s, where the dentists recognized that the best way to treat a tooth affected by dental caries on the proximal surfaces was restoring the anatomical contour and contact with the adjacent tooth. Dentists realized way back in the 1800s that if you have a proximal caries, then you can have the better restoration and better performing restoration if you restore the contact and the contours of the area. And to restore the contact or the contour of the area, it was essential to adapt a band around a tooth structure so that the contour can be maintained. The matrix was needed to provide the missing wall or walls and thus contain the restorative material during the filling of the cavity. And it was realized that such a contoured filling would what do? It would restore the proper form and function of the interproximal space. It will maintain the function of the tooth, as I have already said. It will ensure no breach in the continuity of the occlusal aspect of the dentition. That is, during on the chewing surface or on the occlusal surfaces, all the marginal ridges will be in contact with each other and there will be no gap in between the two teeth. If there is a gap between the two teeth, that will lead to food lodgement. Okay. It was realized that such a contoured filling would re-establish the proper form of the interproximal space. it would maintain the function of teeth. It would ensure there is no breach in the continuity of the occlusal aspect of the dentition. That means on the occlusal surfaces, all the marginal ridges of the adjacent tooth would be in contact with each other. Because if they are not in contact with each other and there is a gap between the two teeth, that would lead to vertical food lodgement. And by doing this, it would maintain the length of the arch, it would prevent the food impaction, and then it would maintain and promote the health of the gingival tissue as well as comfort to the patient. Early matrices. The first recorded use of the matrix is that introduced by Dwinell in 1855. Later, the original matrix was described as the metal band that was wedged against and supported by the adjacent tooth but was not attributed to any of the inventor. The earliest matrices incorporating the new concepts appeared in late 1800s and included the Jack, Huey, Perry and the Brunton matrices. The materials included steel, platinum plate or foil, brass, copper, phosphor bronze, etc. Few of these bands were pre-contoured also. So, if you were to classify the matrices, there are different ways one can classify. One, depending upon what kind of cavity preparation for which you are going to use the matrices. For example, matrices to be used with class 1 cavity with a buccal or palate extension, matrices to be used with class 2 preparations, matrices to be used with class 3 preparations, with class 4 preparations and with class 5 preparations. So, if you have a class 1 with a buccal or the palate extension, then you would use a double banded ivory matrix number 8 or a double banded Toffelmeier. If you have a class 2 cavity preparation, then you would use ivory matrix number 1, Toffelmeier, a compound supported matrix, a copper band matrix, an auto matrix or a sectional matrix. We will be talking about all these matrices in detail one by one, but I just want you to get familiarized with the names. If you have a class 3 preparation, that is a proximal surface of the anterior teeth without involving the incisal edge, then you can use cellophane matrix, Myler strips or S-shaped matrix. If you have class 4 preparation, that is a proximal surface of the anterior teeth involving the incisal edge, then you can use a cellophane matrix or preformed celluloid crowns or dead soft metal matrix strips. If you have class 5 preparation, that is gingival 1/3 of the facial and the lingual surface of all the teeth, then you can use either cervical matrix or a window matrix. Second way to classify the matrices is depending on the type of the band material. So, the band material can be made of steel, copper, cellophane, polyacetate or nickel. Next classification is depending on the fabrication, that is either the matrices can be preformed, for example ivory matrix number 1 and 8 and Toffelmeier, or they can be the custom made matrices, that is the matrices which are made specially for that particular tooth on that particular patient, and the example is compound supported matrix. Then depending on the mode of retention, that whether the matrix band is using the retainer or it is without the use of retainer. If it is using the retainer, example is ivory matrix number 1, 8 Toffelmeier, and if it is without the retainer, the classic example is auto matrix. Depending on the transparency, transparent and non-transparent matrices. Transparent matrices are Myler strips and non-transparent matrices are the metallic matrices ivory matrix number 1 and 8. Now, I am going to describe all the various matrices one by one in detail which are used in day-to-day restorative dentistry. To begin with, we will talk about ivory matrix number 1. This is the retainer and that is the band of the ivory matrix number 1. The band encircles the posterior proximal surface, so it is indicated in unilateral class 2 cavity, that is it is used in either MO cavity or a DO cavity, and the band is attached to the retainer. This band, it is attached to the retainer by the help of projections which are present on the retainer. So, first you adapt the band to the retainer and then carry this band and retainer assembly onto the tooth structure. Okay. Then there is a screw at the end of this retainer. The screw helps to adapt the band at the desired area, and the projections entangle themselves in the embrasures of the unprepared proximal surface. The band has a contoured part. So, if you look at the band, if I redraw it, it's something like this, and these are the holes. The holes, they get entangled into the retainer, and this contoured part is towards the gingiva, and this plain area is towards the occlusal surface. Okay. This retainer also has a hollow side and it has a flat side. The hollow side must always face gingivally. That's the rule. Then you have ivory matrix number 8. That is this is the retainer and this is the band. The band encircles the entire crown of the tooth structure. So, it is specially recommended for MOD preparations and class 1 restoration with the buccal extension or class 1 with the palatal extension. The band can be made to conform to the tooth structure and the required area by rotating the screw. So, the screw is very much here. So, just rotate the screw and accordingly you can adjust the diameter of the band. So, first you secure the band to the retainer and carry the band and the retainer together onto the prepared tooth structure, and by just rotating the screw you can adjust your retainer. Then is the Toffelmeier. This is the most practical matrix for class 2 restoration. This is named after the inventor Dr. Benjamin F. Toffelmeier, and hence the name Toffelmeier. Its use is made universal by easy application and removal of the band. So, it is also called as the universal matrix. The most commonly they ask you what is a universal matrix. The Toffelmeier is called as the universal matrix. Okay. So, when you are using the Toffelmeier, there are certain things which you have to keep in mind. You always use the contoured bands, the one with a gingival extension. As soon as the band is in the place and all the cavity margins can be seen inside the matrix, a wedge which is comparable to the dimension of the future gingival embrasure is chosen and placed. So, it is always better to apply a wedge. We will be talking about wedges, the types of wedges, how to place a wedge, different kinds of wedging techniques in the later half of the presentation. And when you place the wedge, what is the golden rule? The golden rule is to place a wedge from the buccal side in the mandibular, premolar and molar area, and from the palatal side in the maxillary, premolar and the molars, since the corresponding embrasures are relatively larger and they allow easy placement of the wedge. So, when you are restoring the mandibular teeth, premolar and molars, the wedge will always be placed from the buccal side towards the lingual side, and in the maxillary molars always from the palatal side towards the buccal side, because these embrasures are much more wider. A ball burnisher can be used from within the cavity preparation to shape the matrix material to create the outline of the contact and contour of the future restoration. So, you can contour your matrix band using a ball burnisher. We go back a little towards a historical perspective and we talk about the Black's matrices. There are different kinds of Black's matrices introduced by Sir G.V. Black in restorative dentistry. First, we talk about the Black's matrix for a simple case. Okay, this is recommended for a majority of small and medium sized cavities. A metallic band is cut so that it extends only slightly over the buccal and the lingual surface of the tooth beyond the class 2 preparation. The band is held in position by the use of dental floss and is engaged in the gingival ends of the matrix, which are turned up to hold the floss. So, this is the band. You contour the band. Okay, then you upfold the tips towards the upper side of this band, and then you put a dental floss around this area and place this into the proximal portion where you are going to restore the tooth structure. Okay, that's called as a Black's matrix. Then you talk about the Black's matrix with a gingival extension to cover the gingival margin of a subgingival cavity. So, if you have a subgingival cavity, you will use this kind of band which has a gingival extension so that it can very well go beyond the free gingival margin into the subgingival area, so as not to overfill your restorative material into the gingival sulcus. So, specially designed matrix with a contour specially designed for subgingival caries lesions, and the same protocol that you will tie a dental floss around the hooked up margins and then use this. Okay. Then you have a different kind of a band which is called as a soldered band, also called as a seamless copper band matrix. These are indicated for badly broken teeth, especially those receiving pin retained amalgam restorations with large buccal and lingual extension. So you solder a band around a tooth structure, that is, it's customized, and then you adapt it and then you start doing your restoration. How do you actually place a soldered band? You take a stainless steel band, you cut it according to the measured diameter of the crown, and the two ends are soldered together using the soldering machine, and it becomes a total complete ring. The band is then heated in flame until it glows red light, and then it is quenched in alcohol, thus softening the band for easy handling, and this softened band can be very nicely adapted onto the tooth structure. The band is then contoured and trimmed according to the contours of the tooth to be restored by using the contouring pliers and the sandpaper discs. The customized band thus formed is placed in the position and is tightened using a flat bladed plier. To stabilize the band and prevent cervical flashes of amalgam, wedges and impression compounds are also placed. So you place wedges on the mesial and distal side, and on all the sides you put an impression compound so that there is no gap between the tooth and the band. The next matrix system which we are going to talk is the anatomic matrix. It is also called a compound supported matrix because you use an impression compound to support the matrix. This is most efficient means of reproducing the contact and the contour. It is entirely handmade, that is customized it is, and contoured specifically for each individual case. It is specially useful in mutilated teeth and is indicated for class 2 designs. It can also be used for MODs. So this is how it is. There is a band, you contour it according to the tooth structure, and then you support it in position by the use of staple pins and by the use of impression compound. So these bars are called as staple pins, and this red area is your softened impression compound. So what is the procedure? You take a piece of stainless steel matrix band and is drawn between the handles of a pair of fistooning scissors. This procedure facilitates the adaptation of the free ends of the matrix to the proximal surface of the tooth. The matrix is cut to proper length and is contoured with the contouring pliers. The band is then trimmed so that the matrix extends well below the gingival margins of the cavity and at least 2 mm beyond the buccal and the lingual margins of the cavity. Okay. So this is the photograph which shows the matrix band in position, mesial side and the distal side. Then you select a wedge. A wedge is selected and shaped to conform to the gingival embrasure, and it is then placed in warm water to soften it slightly, and then it is placed in position on the mesial side and on the distal side. 2 small cones of compound or the impression compound are warmed in hot water. These compound cones are forced one at a time using thumb and the finger pressure into the buccal embrasure and into the lingual embrasure. So you have the matrix bands and then you have the impression compound. The pressure is maintained until the compound has flown evenly over the entire buccal and the lingual surface of the adjacent teeth. A wire staple constructed from a paper clip is heated in a flame and forced into the compound in the buccal and the lingual embrasures. This adds to the stability of the matrix. So these staple pins, they are attached. What they do is they just ensure the stabilization of the impression compound, and the whole matrix system is held in one position. Then next what you do, you take a warm ball burnisher and it is used to soften any compound that has been forced between the matrix and the adjacent tooth. The matrix is burnished lightly against the contacting tooth. Further advancement of the retainerless system, that is the matrix which does not require retainer, is the auto matrix. It is also called as a roll-in band matrix. This is a retainerless matrix system specially used for complex amalgam restorations and in the patients who cannot tolerate the retainer hanging out for long. Also, it is beneficial for teeth which have short occlusogingival height, that is, teeth which are shorter in height. The system comprises of bands of various sizes, the tightening device and the nippers. Nippers are the cutting device. So, what is the procedure? You take a band of appropriate size, select it, and the selection is based according to the which tooth is to be restored. The band is burnished, placed around the tooth structure and then tightened in position using the tightening device. Then you use an impression compound for stabilization of the automatrix, and after the restoration is complete, the nippers are used to cut the band and then it is carefully removed in two halves. Next we come down to the S-shaped matrix. This is an ideal matrix for class 3 cavity preparations on the distal surface of the canine. Class 3 cavities, that means on the proximal surface of the anterior teeth without involving the incisal edge. Okay. Procedure: you take a ½ inch to 1 inch of the regular strip matrix. A mirror handle is used to produce the S shape in the strip. The band is contoured over the labial surface of the canine and the lingual surface of the adjacent premolar as is shown in the photograph. So, on one side is on the labial surface, on one side it is on the lingual surface, creating an S, and that is why it is called as the S-shaped matrix. Okay. With contouring pliers, the strip is contoured in the middle part to create desired form for the restoration. It is then placed interproximally and wedged firmly apical to the gingival margin. That was about the S-shaped matrix used for the class 3 preparation. Then you have the transparent plastic matrix strips. These are transparent strips in a box. These are used in teeth to be restored with restorative materials like composites, as they are transparent. So, they will allow the curing light to pass through them and not interfere with the polymerization. For composite resins, we can use cellophane strips, and mylar strips can also be used. Okay. You have the transparent matrix for class 3 preparations. The suitable plastic strip is burnished over the end of a stainless steel instrument, example the handle of a tweezer, to produce a belly in the strip. This will allow for better contour. So, you create a contour. Okay. The strip is cut to allow the belly to be placed where the contact is desired. In placing the plastic strip in between the teeth, it should be cut as wide as the length of the tooth. So, this is a diagrammatic representation from the lingual side, from the labial side, and this is your contoured strip. So, you pre-contour the strip and then you insert into the interproximal area, then you insert the wedge and then support it. The corners of the strip should be trimmed to allow for better adaptation to the tooth structure and to prevent any excess material from forming on beyond the facial or the lingual margins. The length of the strip should be sufficient to cover the labial and the lingual surface of the tooth. Okay. So, labial surface and the lingual surface. Then you place a wedge. A wedge is trimmed and applied to hold the strip in place. For labial approach, the fingers are used of the left hand for holding the strip firmly against the lingual surface of the tooth while the material is being placed in the cavity. So, you secure the matrix band by inserting a wedge, and if you are restoring the tooth from the labial surface, you have to hold the matrix from the lingual surface so that it does not get displaced. Similarly, you have the transparent matrices for class 4 cavities, that is for the proximal surface of the anterior teeth which are involving the incisal edge or what is called as the angle buildup. So, you take a suitable plastic strip and you fold it at an angle to form an L shape. So, this is your transparent strip. You first fold it and make a L shape out of it. So, now we talk about the transparent matrices for class 4 preparation, that is the proximal surface of the anterior teeth involving the incisal edge or the incisal angle. It is also called as angle buildup. So, what you do is that you take a suitable plastic strip and fold it to an angle to form an L shape. So, this is your transparent strip, and when you fold it, you make a L shape. One side of the strip is cut so that it is as wide as the length of the tooth. The other side is cut so that it is as wide as the width of the tooth. The strip of the wedge is placed and adapted to the tooth structure. So, you insert it into the interproximal area and then you secure it in position by placing a wedge. Then you have the aluminium foil incisal corner matrix. These are the stock metallic matrices shaped according to the proximo-incisal corner and the surface of the anterior teeth. They can be adapted to each specific case. Procedure: a corner matrix closest in the size and the shape of the lost area is selected from the box. It is trimmed gingivally so that it coincides with the gingival architecture and covers the gingival margin of the preparation. As it is readily deformable, it can be shaped with the thumb and the first finger as per the requirement. The wedge is loosely placed, allowing space for the matrix band thickness. Transparent crown form matrices. These are the transparent crowns, hollow, which are available according to the size of the teeth. These are stock plastic crowns which can be adapted to the tooth anatomy. They are available in various sizes and shapes. In a bilateral class 4 preparation, that is where the mesial as well as the distal surface are lost of the tooth structure, the entire crown form is used. However, if there is only one side breakage, that either the mesial side is broken or the distal side is broken, then what you do is that the plastic crown is cut incisogingivally into two halves and only the side which is corresponding to the location of the preparation is utilized. The crown form is chosen with the size and the shape which is closest to the tooth to be restored. Then the crown is trimmed gingivally so that it coincides with the gingival architecture and completely covers the gingival margin of the preparation. The matrix is checked to ensure that it will recreate the proper contact and contour. The matrix is then removed and thinned at its contact area with a sandpaper disc. It should be perforated at the incisal angle. The matrix is completely filled with the restorative material and the preparation is partly filled with the restorative material. The filled crown is then placed onto the tooth structure. The wedge is tightened and the material is allowed to set. And if you are using a light cure composite, you just cure it through the matrix. Then we talk about window matrix. The matrix is formed by using either a Toffelmayer matrix or a copper band matrix and is used for restoring class 5 cavities to be restored with silver amalgam. So, this is the class 5 cavity preparation which has been done, and then you have adapted the matrix, just creating a window. So, that is, the window is cut into the band so that through that window you can fill in your restorative material. So, what is the procedure? A band is adapted to the tooth structure with retainer towards the lingual side because you are going to restore the buccal side. The window is cut on the labial surface, that is a window which has been cut similar than to the outline form of the prepared cavity. The silver amalgam is placed through this window and the matrix is removed once the material has been hardened. Next we have the tin foil matrix. The matrix is used again for restoring class 5 cavities to be restored with glass ionomer cement. The foils may be pre-shaped or cut according to the size and the contour of the area to be restored. It should extend 1 to 2 mm beyond all the cavity margins when placed. And after placing the restorative material, the matrix is placed in position and held there for some time so that the material gets completely set. And once the restorative material is completely set, the band is removed. Also, we have the pre-formed transparent cervical matrix as you can see in the picture. They are pre-formed matrices which are available commercially to be used with composite resin or GIC. So, this is the matrix and it has an extension also so that you can hold it. They are also provided with a knob like extension on the external surface from which it can be easily held in position with the help of a tweezer. So, you place the restorative material on the class 5 area, then you just choose the matrix depending upon which tooth it is, whether it is a premolar or whether it is a molar, like this one is for the premolar and this one is for the molar. You hold it from here with the tweezer from the knob and then you just place it onto the tooth surface and then you cure your composite. Once your composite cured, then you just remove this band and cure your composite once again, and automatically, because of the placement of this matrix, the composite takes a nice contour. Then you have sectional matrices. Of late, new matrices have been developed which are called as the sectional matrices, which do not have a retainer, and a variety of these are available in the market, such as micro machine matrix, Barton matrix, Paludan matrix, Bitine, Compositite, V-ring and tab matrix. These are the names of the commercially available sectional matrix, and the biggest advantage of using a sectional matrix is that it provides natural contour and profile. The bands are very thin, mostly made up of nickel titanium and are malleable, so they can be properly adapted to the tooth structure. Embrasures are better created. They can be removed also very easily from the buccal side to the lingual side without any causing large amount of disruption to the freshly placed restoration. They are easy to place and easy to remove, and they can be used with any kind of restorative material, and they do not have those long retainers attached to them, so they are also very user friendly and very comfortable to the patients. To have a better understanding of how a sectional matrix works, I am going to give you an example of a V3 matrix system which was introduced by GC company from Japan. It has several components. First is the ring, and they have named it as V3 ring. It is made up of nickel titanium and has a glass fiber reinforced plastic tines. These are the plastic tines. Its V-shaped tines can accommodate the wedge very nicely. You have the V3 tab matrix. It is made up of nickel titanium. It is very soft and very malleable. That's the band. So you can just contour it with your fingers so as to adapt it nicely. Then you have the wave wedge. It's a special kind of a soft plastic wedge. It has special wings that get compressed on the entry and get flared on the exit. This property helps to get good tooth separation. You have the pin tweezer. It is used to hold the matrix, and the pin in the tip of the tweezer grips the hole in the V3 tab matrix. Then you have the forceps that are used to hold the ring during the placement and during the removal. So first, what you do is you use the wave wedge and you ensure separation. Then you pick up your matrix band with the help of the tweezer. You take it to the side. First you remove the wedge, you place your matrix band and then you replace your wedge. Then you take this V3 ring with using this forceps and take it to the tooth structure, and once you have placed it in proper position, then you remove your forceps. That's how you are going to work. We also want to talk a couple of things about the wedges, because you must have understood in all these slides that there is a definite role of the wedge during the matrix placement. If you want to define what is a wedge, wedge is a piece of softwood or a plastic which is used to support and adapt the matrix band against the tooth structure. So it supports the matrix band and also helps in the better adaptation of the matrix band to the tooth structure, so that there is no gap between the tooth structure and the matrix band. What are the objectives? It prevents the surplus amalgam being forced into the gingival crevice by adapting the band close to the tooth structure. So since the band is very nicely adapted to tooth structure, so the amalgam will not fall into the gingival crevice. Okay. It assists in contouring the cervical part of the proximal surface. It's sometimes the wedges are also used for the tooth separation. If you want to classify according to the shape, they can be triangular or they can be round. Then according to the material they are made up of, they can be wooden wedges, they can be plastic wedges, or they can be fiber wedges. These are fiber wedges. Fiber wedges are all mostly used when you are doing composite restoration, because the fiber wedge will allow the light to pass through the wedge, so that even the gingival areas of the composite can be cured. If you have to ask or compare the different types of wedges and which one are the best, probably wooden wedges are the best ones. Why? Number one, they are easy to trim with the scalpel, so it can be customized according to the area. You can just contour your wooden wedge with your scalpel or with your blade and just make the desired shape, and then you can use it according to your requirement. Number two, since they are wooden, so what they are going to do is they are going to absorb any kind of gingival clavicular fluid which is present and help in maintaining the area dry. Certain things to, or the points to remember when you are using wedges. A triangular shaped wedge, which is also called as anatomical wedge, is indicated for a preparation with the margins that are deep in the gingival sulcus. It should be just apical to the gingival margin. And the wedge is placed from the buccal side in the mandibular teeth and from the palatal side in the maxillary teeth, as the corresponding embrasures are wide. What are the different techniques of wedging, or what are the types of wedging? Simple wedging, when you are using a single wedge, as you are doing in most of the cases. Then you have wedge wedging. What is wedge wedging or wedging the wedge? Occasionally, a concavity is present on the proximal surface, such as in that of the maxillary first premolar. In this case, after you place the first wedge, you place a second wedge in a direction other than parallel to the first one. Okay. So, mostly it is in the occlusogingival direction. So, one wedge like this one, number one wedge is from the palatal to the buccal side, and number two wedge is from the occlusal towards the gingival wedge. What this second wedge will do, it will help in the proper adaptation of the matrix to the tooth structure. So, this is called as wedge wedging. Then you have piggyback wedging. Piggyback wedging means placing second wedge above the first wedge in the same direction. It is indicated in patient whose interproximal tissue has moved apically. In this case, a single wedge is used. It is significantly lower to the gingival margin, so that a second smaller wedge can be placed on top of it and is parallel to the first wedge, called as piggyback wedging. Then you have double wedge. If the proximal box is very wide patiolingually, then a double wedging technique is used, in which one wedge is applied from the buccal side and one wedge is applied from the lingual side. So, you have wedge number 1 from the buccal side and wedge number 2 from the lingual side. Little bit about a tooth separation. Why we need tooth separation when we are placing a matrix? We want to place, you do tooth separation because it helps in the examination of the interproximal spaces. Supposedly, if you are not sure where the caries is, whether it is there on the interproximal area or not, and your explorer is not able to give you the exact picture, then you achieve some amount of tooth separation so that you can actually see the proximal surface. Number 2, for facilitating access to the proximal cavities. Number 3, for insertion and polishing of the restoration. And number 4, sometimes for the removal of the foreign bodies, example fruit seeds or fragments or toothpicks which get stuck. Sometimes toothpick gets stuck in the interproximal area and it is difficult to remove it. Then you first have to do the tooth separation, and once you do the tooth separation, then only you can remove the fractured segment. So, how you can do the tooth separation? Basically, two methods are employed. One is slow separation and one is the rapid separation. Slow separation is called as a delayed separation, and fast separation or the rapid separation is also called as the immediate tooth movement. If you have to do slow separation, how you are going to do it? you are going to do it by inserting certain materials in between the two teeth. Okay, and this separation is achieved after within some weeks. So, what are the materials you are going to use for slow separation? Base plate, katapacha, orthodontic wire, wood or rubber. And if you want rapid separation or immediate separation, which is the most frequently used method, you have to use certain different kinds of instruments. The only issue with rapid instruments, rapid separation or immediate separation of the teeth is that because you are doing it rapidly, sometimes there can be pain in the tooth because of the rupture of the periodontal ligaments. And these are the different types of instruments. One is called as the Elliott separator, which works on the wedge principle. Then you have the Farrier double bow separator, which works on the traction principle. Then you have the non-interfering true separator, which works on the traction principle. So, if you want to conclude the role of matrix bands, retainers and wedges, it can be said in one line that a matrix well placed can restore the tooth to its proper form, function and aesthetic. Thank you.